Hi, everybody. It's Sunday, August 10th. This whole week, I've been very much under the weather. I even contemplated going to the hospital midweek. It was during that time that I had a scheduled ride, and the ride fell through. And I have insurance, and the insurance company scrambled to get me a driver. None of this was pre-planned, but it falls under the category of scripted encounter. So the person who picked me up, turns out, his name's Mike. We started talking. He's a diver for the military, but he does rideshare as a side hustle in the interim. And I brought up, he was picking up an amputee. It said it on the call log that he had. And we started talking about the sea, the ocean, kicking up bacteria and stuff following the tsunami in Russia. And also I mentioned that I had lost my right foot and ankle because of what has the local think tank believing to be the cause of it was bacteria that came from the Tijuana sewage that moved across. The sewage doesn't respect international borders that extend out into the ocean, no. And so that, with a combination of any earthquake in the water, stuff gets kicked up that has reached the bottom of the surface, so to speak. My foot was eaten up. They call it necrotic fasciitis. And the term for the specific bacteria, the culture of bacteria, that has another big $2 name to it. I began talking to him to tell him, hey, listen, you got to be real careful out in the ocean because one little cut, this and the other. And he went on. The guy's name is Mike, and he used to be known as Doc. He was a medic. Hello, if you're watching. He began telling me, well, we're on hiatus right now in the diver as far as the work because of that alert that it's unsafe right now to be deep sea diving, doing what they do. But that he has in the past had a whole host of things that came about because of the diving. Now, the diving wasn't originally his area of expertise. He retrained himself to do that. And, but he had acquired other dermatological skin-related issues, the result of things that are in the water. He never had a family history of he began to rattle off a series of things now that he has to worry about related to skin, skin cancer. Eczema was one of the things, one of several that he brought up. Mike, if you're watching, I hope that I do justice to what we went over. But he retrained himself because he used to be a medic. And he was in heavy line of fire. He mentioned that he had taken hits for the team, for our government. Freedom ain't free. Thank you for your service, one and all. He had taken upwards of more than 10 bullets to the body and his body became Swiss cheese because of it. And he explained to me that he himself was under the threat of losing an arm and that one of the bullets had gone through him here and exited here. And he's still tough as nails, indestructible. But the most curious thing that he told me of everything was that he has bionic equipment. That's my terminology for it. In his chest. Not unlike this guy with the ark that he has in the center as a centerpiece. And so today's Bible passage that's going to be really related to this vid is about how iron sharpens iron in particular. And we're going to include another verse as well that's related to the question of we serve a God without limits. He can do it all, and he imparts that blessing. I hope that some manna falls afresh on you out there, whoever's listening. Credit to Mike for mentioning and making me feel like I have yet to even begin to scratch the surface. Once I get back on my feet, because right now your fevered prayers appreciated. It's all concentrated back here. I may have gone through, and I'm coming out of it, praise the Lord, but little by little, still, it's taken about 6 days so far. I may have recontracted a variant of the China virus, of the coronavirus. And I never took the shots, FYI, when I had fallen into a coma, induced for 3 weeks in 2023. One of the things that they, as a precautionary measure, or otherwise, they had put me on a ventilator, which in and of itself can kill you, because you're rebreathing stagnant air. And it wasn't for me to suffer that fate. And I had taken, just prior to checking into the hospital, thanks to my brother, John, the medication that 4547 took, which was not the vaccines, not the Pfizer drug, not the any of the other companies, AstraZeneca. He had taken monoclonal antibodies and had survived because of it, where your body's rebuilding antibodies to keep up with the loss of them. But anyway, this thing that's been bothering me, I have experienced it once before, and it only took a few days for it to go away last time. This time it came a little stronger, where I almost fainted twice, and if I faint with a prosthetic, I could dislocate my hip, break an ankle, then I'll be really in setback, as it were. But thank God I did not. I go to the doctors, get treated with a little extra stuff, a little more medication, and feeling on the mend, happy to report. Now, Mike, I want to consult my cheat sheet here, brought up a number of things, including, which to me was like, it makes me feel lazy, and it makes me feel, at the same time, inspired, because he brought up the fact that there are people on active duty that have lost limbs that are still representing king and country, defending American Beulah against forces, both internal and external, that are trying to bring the country down. I want to rattle off a couple of names for you, and I want to direct your attention to the supporting materials right here. Pause the video. It is here where you're going to find articles and videos related to the following people that are exemplary inspirations for people that have suffered injury and have conquered and persevered, and the body has conquered through the mind, through the spirit. And where does that come from? Who is the ultimate source of inspiration for all that? The profile that I want to start with, first and foremost, is a man who is currently still active duty. His name is Nick Lavery. Nick Lavery. Just a salute to all these people who I'm going to mention. Nick Lavery is in his, currently in 2025, 18 and a half year as a Navy SEAL. Check out this guy. I'm going to provide these images also. I hope that comes through good. There's a little reflection. I'll show you another photo of him. Look at this guy. I want to put it to you in perspective with just this one exercise among many that Navy SEALs have to go through. And this weeds out the people that are seeking to be a part of the Navy SEALs. They can't handle this one exercise, imagine, and they have to go through a whole host of these. And this man doesn't get a break. He has to go through the regiments like everybody else with an amputation, with the prosthetic, I mean. The one exercise that weeds out a lot of people is they make the people seeking to join the Navy SEALs regularly, waist deep, get in the ocean and run, not walk, with resistance, mind you, 12 miles in the ocean, backwards, running backwards 12 miles regularly during training. You go ahead and try it, you able-bodied people. Try to do that. Ooh. And this guy's doing it still with the prosthetic. This guy's, to me, uber inspirational, and makes me feel lazy inside. When during this time of being sick, I've been careful not to walk around too much. And these are all names that my Ironman lift driver, Doc Mike, former medic, now diver, brought to my attention. So I want to share it all with you. Another guy is this guy, incredible. He's a participant in the Department of Defense Warrior Games, which we're going to preview on this devotional, and also the 2025 Invictus Games, representing active duty, the military, and he is Green Beret Master Sergeant Ivan Morera. Check this dude out. Missing arm. I mean, what, and I'm asking this rhetorically at this point, what are the limitations? Anyway, I sent him fair warning about being careful when you go into the water, about the bacteria contaminants, and he was well aware of it. It was no accident that we crossed paths. And I want to encourage you all to persevere, to push through with whatever the obstacles are. In my case, I gained ground on one end, and on another end, kind of still waiting, wading, and not making much progress, but holding out that there's going to be breakthrough, and I need your intercession. And those of you who are compassionate and have a few loose coins in the sofa cushion, so to speak, you want to give a hand, I'll provide a GoFundMe link. I am $7,000 in arrears in bills that accrued during December 16th, 2024 through now August of 2025. 9 months. I was behind, was going to be behind, that was the estimate, 18,000, but slightly more so far than 11,000 has been able to help stave off, keep the lights on, stave off eviction from where I live. I'm happy to report that one of the inroads that I've made from the last update is that I went to Bank of America and I said, okay, guys, let's cut the charade. Let's cut the threats, the friendly notifications of eviction. And what the devil is going on? Straight talk. And they told me when I went in there, let's check. Let's see what the latest says. Well, you owe us $5,000 almost. I said, there's a mistake here. And then, of course, in the back of my head, speaking to the attack quietly, like ASRM in my head. In the room, I was with a bank manager in conference call with a national representative for the home loans and for the bank itself over these mysterious discrepancies, which they, in the end, longer story shortened, they assumed partial responsibility without admitting error, because that's their style. But they understand that part of what they were charging me was they did not handle something correctly. When I went into a coma, I relied on relatives to use my money to pay mortgage. But as is their prerogative, when you're paying on a house and it's not a locked-in interest rate, mine fluctuates. Sometimes twice, but most often once a year. It goes up maybe $75. And during the time I was in the coma, mind you, 3.5 weeks, the money that I appropriated to send to pay was the inaccurate amount, because it had gone up. So each and every time, and nobody told me on the local level that I would go to pay mortgage, there was several $100s still owed from the previous month. So I'd go in, they never told me. I said, what's the amount I have to pay? They said, it's such and such. I paid it, but there was always, you're coming up short. And this went on since 2023. And so almost $2,100, more than $2,000, was in these assessments, penalties, without. It's a classic example of taxation without representation, where on the local level, the teller should have said, well, you're only paying for part of this month and you still owed for last month. They never told me that. I would have made effort. This is before the amputation. This stems all the way back to the days of the coma. This guy's indestructible too, in his own sense, not unlike Tony Stark. In his own sense, not military on Earth, but spiritually taking hits for the team. A wounded spiritual warrior, this guy. So I speak with authority. My wound speaks for me at this point. So they said, you know what, we should have told you. Even in the notifications that they sent, the threatening, friendly reminders, the eviction notices, which I talked to a realtor, you can have up to 6 of them. I was on number 4. I said, you're going to have to make this disappear. I'm going to escalate this. I was no joke. I'm coming in here, and the manager said, yes, he has an amputation. This is legit. That worked in my favor. So I went in, paid July, the several $100 discrepancy, and I have until the end of this coming week to pay August, and I'll be caught up. No more eviction notices. Now, on the heels of that one advancement, right, there's multiple fronts of battle going on. I'm looking for work, so the money has all gone to pay, robbing from Peter to pay Paul, as I've been saying, as the colloquial saying goes, to catch up on bills. The lights are on, but I'm behind. For example, with HOA, the landscaping, the water, the annual taxes that are paid with the collective. They collect $100 a week for those fees. That's the current amount that has to be paid each and every month. Well, I don't have it. The award that was given for, which has helped for Social Security disability, barely covers the mortgage and very little else. Now, another hit. Don't worry about moving the cheek sometimes, because when you're in the heat of the battle spiritually, the cheek will move involuntarily. So I was getting, until the Social Security Disability Award, a per diem of $10 a day to eat. Food stamps, the modern day equivalent, a rechargeable card. And then I could buy groceries, and you get creative, go to the clearance center, get groceries, cook them at home, and make the money stretch, right? $3 a meal. Well, they sent me a notification saying, well, now that you've gotten the Social Security award, which doesn't even amount to 50% of what I was making as a cabbie, pay attention. But it has helped. Not kicking a gift horse in the mouth. In perpetuity. A safety blanket. They sent a notification saying, well, congratulations, you got that award, but now you're only going to get, and I don't know how they arrive at this, and I'm appealing, but fat lot of good that's going to do right now. I need your help. You're going to be awarded now to live on 3 meals a day, mind you. $1 a day. $1 a day. Your new per diem is $1 a day. Split that by 3 meals. So you've got to survive on 30 cents a day. 30 cents. Listen to what I'm saying. 30 cents a day. So Social Security allows me to go look for work. So I've been looking for work. I have 2 batteries that are part of this chair, right? I can move a little bit in the chair at the job, but if they have me going back and forth at long distances, battery chair's juice is going to run out. I won't be able to have that job. I can stand for a little bit with the prosthetic, but I get tired. I'm going to get less and less tired progressively as time goes by, but mind you, I'm way ahead of schedule. I've only got the leg, and I've been walking without a cane about 2.5 months. I'm in the third month, I believe, since this all started. And you're barely supposed to be like on a cane, with a walking stick, certainly, but if not a walker. And I'm doing it without. I'm trying to, for the most part, but I have my moments where I have to lean against the wall. But anyway, so that limits the type of work that I can look for. I went on the usual sites. I went like Indeed and found out that there were a number of jobs that were where they are receiving calls at the company, and they need people to handle the calls. One of them being a company that fields calls when there are termites in a person's house. They call a pest control company, and they set up appointments to have somebody go out there and look at the damage or bugs, ant season or what have you, right? Another one was, don't judge, I'm just telling you what was out there, was to be setting up appointments for a dispensary, legal dispensary of beverages, candies, and the actual marijuana for medicinal purposes, I would assume for the most part. But I don't know anything about the products whatsoever, but there was a job. So I threw my hat in the bucket for that. And Spectrum was another one. I got the idea for Spectrum because I have a bundle of telephone, computer, and television. So you get a discount when you have a bundle with the company. And I needed to remove one of the more expensive services. I'd gotten rid of one of the TV companies that I was subscribing to. And when I called, I said to the person who answered, who was able to help me right away over the telephone, by the way, where are you from? And he goes, oh, I'm in my house in Florida. But he was handling San Diego. I said, how'd you get your job? He goes, oh, I like my job. You have to wait till there's an opening. You don't have to work in the state, but you have to go for the training, and they have to hold that in the state that you're in. And then the training comes paid, and one of the benefits is that you get all the services comped. So for me, that's anywhere from $100 to, let's say, $150 for the 3 services. So that's a nice little perk. But right now, California is not doing it. And they may soon. I went across the street to a grocery store and to a movie theater, thinking, well, I could take tickets of people. I won't have to move around too much. The Social Security This ability will allow me to make up to and not to exceed by even a penny, or else there will be penalties, $400 a week. So, even at minimum wage in California, gruesome Newsom is a demonic operative. Excuse me. I had to clear my throat. Even at $20 an hour, that's I work up to 5 hours, and that's minimum wage out here. And, well, then after taxes, they'll deduct some, and I don't know if that's gross or net. I think it's gross. So I have to err on the side of caution, but that would be 5 hours a day. Is 100, right? So that'd be a 4-day work week. Or 4 hours a day, 5 days, right? To get to that max. But the movie theater said, well, the summer season ended, so fewer people are needed for the staffing. So you have to check back with us in October. And then I go to the grocery store, and the grocery store person says, well, I don't know why, but an influx of people have just applied for work. And it was the people of the movie theater, because it's right next door. He goes, but in the grocery, it's a union job. And I'm in pretty good with the main manager of the grocery store, who's been there 19 years. He sees me all the time, especially now in the wheelchair. So he said, you have to check back with us around October. So that's not helping me right now. I need your help, guys. I need your help. I'm not the boy who cried wolf. Not to mention that I want to get the homeless ministry back on track. So on the flip side of this is the ministry of blah, 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 blah. And this is the hands-on. Pause this. This was done monthly without fail for years and years and years. August is the month where we are fast approaching the start of the 21st anniversary of all of this unorthodox, fearfully and wonderfully made ministry work, of which Bibles for Homeless is the hands-on, is the actual making care packages that go out on Skid Row locally and has been featured and covered extensively 4 times and now soon to be a 5th time by local affiliate ABC News. They are interested. They want to see Batman back in action. He's even survived the loss of a limb. And he's still out there. Now, not only do I have a heart for the homeless, but as much, if not more, heart now for my fellow people who with missing limbs. On the street, there is no electric wheelchair. You know why? Because they face the regular threat of the chair being, the homeless that is, stolen from them right from under their watch as they're asleep. I mean, they have to probably cradle and rest on the chair in order to avoid that from happening, let alone an electric one. There would be a person of great interest to the enemy operatives. I've been working for years and years with myself and a volunteer team of 5. Right now, I'm up to 1 for sure, the co-creator of the ministry, you know who you are, and 2 who have voiced that, yes, they are interested. We lost team members. Kisses for those of you who worked hard and tirelessly for so many years for King and Country. I'm getting the gang back together again, so to speak, or at least the band back together, a la the Blues Brothers. And still hoping to hear from 2 more people, which would bring the total to 5 volunteers again. So either this month or next month. But this month is also going to be packed with a lot of things that are happening. I recently gave you a tour of the Bat Cave, as it were, and showed you that my house, I might as well be a docent. My house is resplendent as a museum of nerd and geek, Comic-Con stuff everywhere, things that would be of interest to people who like movies everywhere. They all have spiritual component, if you understand what it means. But it's all coming down. and it may be coming down for good. See, I believe in a Lord who's going to allow me, whether in memory form, a hologram in the future, not unlike Ready Player One, where Percival went and was able to replay bits of the creator of the virtual world's history. Yeah, like that. What is the Lord limited to? We serve a limitless God. So everything will be returned. I believe all the detail, everything, all the little minutiae is what I'm trying to say, will be returned. But I think that it's all coming down. First of all, it has to all come down because one of you out there, you know who you are, has offered to do a new flooring and one that's a little bit more friendly for the wheelchairs and for the prosthetic. And I haven't done any flooring or any paint job of the walls since I moved in here 22 years ago, 2005. And they're going to repaint the entire house, the interior. So all this is coming down. And I'm not 100% sure, but I may have maybe a live auction as a fundraiser for those of you out there to see who's really paying attention, who might be interested. It might be a little involved to get it done. Now a little light bulb, bing, 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 went on in my head. Maybe ABC would be so kind to help do the fundraiser live, where a lot of the proceeds would go to help the homeless and help me stave off and be able to keep things going like they have been successfully over the years. I didn't do this I have never taken a penny for myself. I don't wear fancy threads. This is a clearance rack Walmart t-shirt under $5. Well, those are the updates for now. There's a lot. Today's Sunday. I'm heading to church. Just very inspired by Mike and all of you out there who are, I come across people every so often who are doing things that are, I didn't think possible as far as how I'm walking. I'm walking way ahead of schedule. And I'm thinking, ooh, strutting around and people who see me, who saw me without a part of anatomy going, wow, you're walking. That's great. That's fine. But then you look at these people, I'm like, man, I'm lazy bones. McCoy. Bones. We'll see you soon enough. Take care. God bless you. The Lord bless and keep you, Book of Numbers. The Lord make his face to shine upon you and be gracious unto you. The Lord lift up his countenance upon you and give you peace. A quick prayer for all of you out there suffering, mental, physical, spiritual. The attacks are relentless. First, I want to do a little ASMR to speak to the afflictions. May they shrink, whatever it is on you. Who is this crazy person? No human fingerprints. There's no power of human manufacture. It's the Lord working through those who are real bridal party participants who are actually walking, and in some cases, this group running this journey out, carrying out the mandates, listening for the marching orders, and then doing them on earth as it is in heaven. Despite all the debris that is thrown on a spiritual racetrack, a marathon that, as outlined by the Apostle Paul, we are supposed to be running. The Pauline handkerchief, he would wipe the sweat off his brow, and he would apply it. He would apply it on the people that were listening, and that handkerchief was reported to have had curative powers that could even raise the dead. And you will do even greater things than they. Father in heaven, I pray for my particular demographic, the homeless and the lame, the Great Commission. Tell them the blind can see, the deaf can hear, the lame can walk. Let those embers and fragrance just flow out there through the transmission. Let the Holy Spirit do all of the shaking and baking and quaking directly to you, wherever you are. I know Australia is paying attention, New Zealand, because I hear from you regularly. Bangladesh, Spain, Sri Lanka, Canada, brethren there. Many different states in the United States. Guatemala. My African partners, I have two Kenyan brothers, Enoch and Bishop Fred. Father, I speak to the afflictions, the pain, the possible COVID. Now there's another new mosquito virus breakout in China, maybe orchestrated by deep state. Unwelcome guests. Strike the fear of the Lord into those pockets, those areas. I want to uphold and lift and thank you for stories of inspiration, the stories of the wounded warriors that were talked about today. Get the information out where it needs to be gotten out to. Lay a hand of blessing on those who are paying attention here right now, that when they copy, paste, and forward this info to other people, that they receive stripes on their spiritual military uniform. We're in this together. There's no solo missions. There's no child brides. There's no child soldiers. Help them to mature. If some of them out there right now are dining, consumption, spiritual nutrition, the equivalent of spiritual Enfamil or Gerber baby food, Gaga Goo Goo, we want to get them up to speed to where they're eating spiritual meat and potatoes. We need senior people out there contending, fighting the forces in this world for your glory's sake. Not giving people more than what they can handle, but we ask, then we lay at your altar footstool. We ask for an upgrade, uploads and upgrade us for your glory's sake, for your name's sake. Help us to persevere and conquer whatever the physical afflictions are. You need to go. You need to leave Batman's body. You need to leave post haste. Guardian angels, if you're out there, please lend a hand. Thank you. You need to get out. You barged in unwelcomed. Whatever enemy operatives are skulking around like wolves waiting to devour. Wolves in sheep's clothing. Forces that are seeking our demise, both from without as well as from within. Please help the current presidential administration, 45, 47 in the cabinetry, who is exposing a lot of malevolence that has been festering. We need to remove those obstacles off of the spiritual racetrack, remove them, part the Red Seas. Be with our loved ones, with our network, with our volunteers. Be with the ministry, the hands-on. Be with Bibles for Homeless. Help inspire people to give a little bit more, to help me make it to the finish line, to help Batman with his quest. Race ain't over. God didn't leave me alive. They gave me a 30% chance to live with the coma. Still around. I could have easily fallen into a tailspin, losing a limb. It's just mind-staggering logic to find. I look down, still can't believe it. I don't allow it to say, that is the source of my joy. You are the source of my joy. Joy of the Lord is my strength and my song. Yesterday, today, tomorrow. With all my faults, warts and all, I don't even let me stop me, nor you. Lord, you know that to be the case. You know that to be true. I hope that in some small way, inspires others towards love and compassion to other people. Even with all the junk they got, I'm unworthy, I'm unfit to help out. I'm the worst of the bunch. Like the Apostle Paul, the walking contradiction. It is no longer I who sin, but the sin that lives in me. That Apostle Paul. What I do, I don't want to do. And what I don't want to do, I do. That Apostle Paul, who despite his Human frailties all fall short. Powered through each and every day. Afflictions left and right. Shrapnel flying everywhere. Powered through. I speak it for you out there. Power through. They talk about you. Can they handle things? All right, we'll give them a little bit of responsibility to handle. They talk amongst themselves. Let's see how they do. Do they pass muster? Do they pass the test? Oh, they did. Oh, great. Do you want corn or flour tortillas? Let's make a little of both for you out there. Yay. Okay, now let's give them a little more responsibility and a little more. Now let's put them in a coma. Now let's let them lose artificially. Let's let them lose a leg. The Father will allow it. Not a hair can fall from your head without God's will. Oh, this Batman can handle a little bit more than the average bear. Hey, boo-boo. You can handle that, boo-boo. Now, I don't want any more, Lord. I don't want to lose more. I don't want to have too many senior moments. I don't want to get weary. But not my will, but your will. But we can ask. I continue praying, Lord, for those people out there. I hope this serves in some way, shape, form, material that they can turn to and get uplifted by like I was with those people who are still serving in our country. In Jesus' precious name, all these things. Amen and amen. Okay, gang, we'll see you soon. God bless you.